mining is a very important component of the economy of the state of South Australia, and they can't just turn around and say, bye guys, we don't want you anymore. I mean, that's not economically viable, and people do need the product. But mining is a highly energy-intensive operation, so it's going to be very difficult to meet the Premier's very admirable 60% cut in greenhouse emissions by 2050 with mining as usual. So we're stuck, aren't we? You got to have mining economically. You have mining, you can't meet the sustainability agenda unless, here's where you look for the win-win, unless you can have the electricity and the other power for the mining coming from green sources. So I suggested, why not a power park? That's where you get multiple producers using different techniques who are each claiming they're going to be the green future. So you have solar produced by mirrors, and it's going to be, they claim, cheap and solve the problem. I hope they're right. There's going to be wind, which says we're already cheap and we're going to solve the problem, but it's intermittent, so we have to deal with storage. And then we have coal, which says, well, we know we're a really bad polluter, but if we take the CO2 out and put it underground, then we can get away with it, and that could be, but we don't know how we could do that safely and permanently. That's also a research problem. And the nuclear industry says, oh, but we can do it. We don't emit CO2, but then there's questions about the safety of the cycle and what you do with the wastes. So every single one of them has potential, and every single one of them has uncertainty in their costs. Hot rocks, for which South Australia has a great deal. So I said, let's just use the best of the capitalist system. Let them compete in a giant learning by doing experiment. Put them together in the same 20 by 20 kilometer place, not far from where the mines are. That way you can run a transmission line from the power park to the mine. So the mine can boast that it's on green power and it's not messing up the sustainability agenda of the state. They can even pay a little extra and help fund the creation of that learning by doing experiment in producing green energy, and then let the 5 competitors compete and show their stuff. And that way you get a 25-year operating experience. You have green power for the mining industries, and if they discover something really important, whoever does that's going to be rich. That's going to bring in private money. What they need from the state is they need permits, they need seed money, they need cooperative tax breaks, they need things to get them over the economic hump. And maybe they need the state to take care of the transmission line issue. So try to find ways that you can get a win-win. And that's one of them. And if it worked out, there would be a potential for making a lot of money if somebody really figured out a cheap way. They're not just going to do it in South Australia. They're going to sell those patents all over the world and get very rich. Other people are doing this too. So it's a competition. The longer we delay in getting the funding package and incentive package in place for the public-private partnerships to develop green energy, the more we're going to lose opportunities to other places that are not going to let that go. So I think that there's a world competition that's absolutely essential to solve the problem. And why not South Australia, a very good high-tech state, taking its place at the front of the line and trying to get to the finish line at least in the top 3.